Hi, I'm SandiWarner with the Harbor to Hill Real Estate team. Let's talk about millennials and the real estate marketplace. Pretty much, millennials are the story in every milieu right now. Millennials are the biggest part of our demographic in America and probably in the world. In 2019, 37% of every house that was bought by a millennial buyer, whether it was a newer or an older millennial buyer. What does that mean for you if you're selling homes? Well, a millennial buyer is an internet savvy buyer, and that means they're searching for their properties online, and that means good photography. Gone are the days that you can have your agent come over with their cell phone, and particularly an older model iPhone or even an Android, snap a couple dark pictures with dirty beds and houses and kitchens, and your property do well. You need a professional realtor, someone who's going to hire a professional photographer, and someone who's savvy on how to market to this buyer. And these buyers are on social media. They're on, granted to a lesser extent now, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on LinkedIn, they're on, believe it or not, even though it's a very young demographic, they're even on TikTok. You need to hire an agent who understands marketing from the perspective of a broad range of ages and demographies. You want a marketing plan that addresses both the younger millennial buyer, who has a different set of criteria and likes, and then addresses the older, maybe the baby boomer or the Gen X buyer. Another thing for sellers, other things that millennials really want are a high number of amenities. Consider taking those steps to make your property as energy efficient as you can, because environmental consciousness is important. Consider getting new windows, consider updating heating systems, consider smart home technology, consider a Google Nest. Know what millennial buyers want. They, at this time, according to Freddie Mac and according to the U.S. housing data, are looking at things like jetted tubs and kitchen islands and trash compactors, which who knew? So consider doing those things or pay attention to those things and get advice from a professional on that type of work to do to your property as you get it ready for sale. Now, what does it mean for you if you're a buyer and you know that millennials are the ones who are driving the marketplace? Well, if you're a millennial buyer, that means your greatest competition is a buyer just like you. So if you're a millennial and you find a house that you think is perfect, odds are good that you're going to have competition on that. If that house is appealing to you and it's ticking all those boxes, it's probably ticking those boxes for another buyer too. Make sure you've got a good buyer agent on your side, somebody who's focused just on you and making those connections with that seller, somebody who can guide you on how to make your offer stand out. Make sure you're pre-approved. Talk to a lender, talk to 3 lenders, talk to 5 lenders. Check out all the programs out there. For example, in Rhode Island, there's a great program for newer buyers that are make under $68,000 that Washington Trust just put out. And it ends up, they have potentially up to 100% financing at very low interest rates. There are all sorts of programs out there. Make sure you're talking to more than one of them. Talk to your bank, talk to a couple mortgage brokers. The other thing you can do as a buyer, if you're a millennial buyer and you're competing in this market, is consider writing a personal letter. Talk to the seller. Let them know who you are. You never know what connection you're going to make. For all you know, the seller has a kid that went to school with you, or maybe the seller went to school with you, or maybe you guys went to high school, or maybe you like the same sport team, or maybe you both raised labradoodles. These personal touches can make a big difference because sometimes people are very emotionally attached to their property. If you're not buying or selling, all of this data is still useful, because if you own a home right now, that means you're gaining equity in that home. That means your investment's really paying off for you. If you haven't refinanced, interest rates are still low. Consider refinancing. Maybe you want to do that work and get your house in the condition that it's ready to sell in 2 or 3 years. Regardless of whether you're buying or selling, We're here to help. We can answer any of those questions for you. We keep an eye on this market every day. We watch what's happening in Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, and we talk to buyers and sellers like you all the time. I'm SandiWarner with the Harbor to Hill Real Estate Team. Give us a call at 401-662-7204, and we'll be happy to answer any real estate questions that you have.